Final preparations at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal Sports Centre at the Canadian Grand Prix, brought to you by Mercedes-AMG. Marissa Roberto alongside Tim Hauraney here, absolutely cooking out here on this track. Tim, how are you feeling?
I'm sweating right now, Marissa. Like I was saying, I think this is like the surface of the sun. That's what it feels like at the moment. It's like 40 degrees.
Yeah, buddy, how do you think I feel? I'm wearing a sweater dress, okay? This was a bad choice, but I do want to talk about this upcoming weekend here. We have to talk about Red Bull, who made an announcement on Tuesday saying they were extending Sergio Perez's contract. Are you surprised by this, given his struggles compared to his teammate, Max Verstappen?
Yeah, definitely surprised, Marissa. I mean, I don't think that he would have been the right fit moving forward with the team, but Christian Horner feels that he is, and I think a big thing for Horner was continuity.
Sure.
Keeping him at the team until 2026 was a big thing for him. And so I think moving forward for that team, just try to make sure that they can get Sergio as close to Max every race that we go to from here on out.
Sure. Well, Red Bull struggled in Monaco. They were beaten in Miami, a track they normally did well at. Given the particulars of this track specifically, who do you think has the advantage? Are we going to Red Bull, Ferrari, McLaren?
I would say Red Bull definitely coming in has the advantage, Marissa. I think like any track we go to from here on out, Red Bull is definitely going to be the leader in that front. But again, with this track, we have really high curbing. And with really high curbing, that could bring more opportunities for the teams because Red Bull doesn't seem to handle bumps and high curbs very well.
Okay, another team looking to bounce back this weekend is Aston Martin. They're currently sitting 5th in the standings. You actually had a chance to sit down with Lance Stroll and Mike Crack to discuss what's ahead for this Canadian-owned team.
A year ago, Canadian-owned Aston Martin arrived in Montreal in a fight for second in the Constructor Standings. Second half struggles, though, thwarted that goal and have carried over into 2024. Aston Martin is firmly planted in the midfield, well behind Mercedes in 4th, and have RB chasing them, who are in 6th.
What we need to work on is our weaknesses. Last year, one of the weaknesses was the development. We did not add enough performance throughout the year. This is something that is very high up on our agenda.
To compound matters, other teams in the midfield have taken big strides in their chase of Red Bull, most notably McLaren and Ferrari, each of which won races in the month of May. But for Aston Martin, the hope is that future success will lie in foundational moves happening now. The team built a state-of-the-art factory that opened last July and is preparing for a much-anticipated partnership with Honda that begins in 2026.
We're doing, everything that the top teams are doing, from having the wind tunnel being built to, everyone that's in the factory working on every piece that's in the car. We used to outsource everything, and now we're making everything in-house, which is huge for development time and getting new upgrades and parts on the car. So we're really now we're operating as a top team.
One of the biggest challenges still to come is the new wind tunnel. Aston Martin has been using Mercedes' wind tunnel that goes back all the way to its Racing Point days.
The main challenge is that you have time constraints. You are in our situation. We have 2.5 days, 24-hour run, and you have to pack your session basically in that time block. If you have your own, you do a small sequence, and then you can analyze it, and then maybe you can change direction. Now we have to be super efficient, to make the maximum time of what we have, to make maximum usage of what we have. So it's a completely different way of working. We are quite stressed now. Everything has to be really maximum time efficient so that you do not lose any of your allocated runs.
The team obviously is, made no bones about it. They want to win a Constructors title. What do you think the next steps, I guess, would be in the evolution of that?
We just have to keep pushing. I think 26 is a big opportunity for all the teams with the new regulation changes. Right now we're still growing. We're improving in every area we can, and the goal is really 26 to try and take another step and take advantage of those the new regulations, which I think is a big opportunity.
Aston Martin brought a big upgrade to Imola, but so far it has not worked out. So why, and how do they turn things around?
I think one of the big things with this upgrade, and they brought a lot of components to this car, it was essentially almost like a B-spec car, especially when you're redoing the whole floor of a race car, which they had done, a new diffuser and all those things. I think one of the issues is curb riding for them, like how do they tackle the curbs, which is sort of similar here in Canada, where you really have to attack the curbs and be aggressive. So I think coming into Canada, this could be a difficult race weekend for them, Marissa.
Okay.
I think another thing with this team is just not having their own wind tunnel online yet. That's a huge thing when you're having to share a wind tunnel with another team. And I think once they start to get that operational, the flow of parts, the flow of components to the car will eventually start to come through, which will be good for the team because I can see them turning this thing around in the next 3 months.
Timothy Hauraney, insightful as always. Thanks for cooking out here with me, buddy.
We just need a nice little barbecue spit here or something to put some burgers
Or just a
or
fan maybe next time.